When I started studying anatomy, I was all pumped to finally get my characters to look better. Except they didn't. Until I figured out my mistakes. So in this video, I'm going to tell you about the worst mistakes I made when I was studying anatomy so that you can avoid them and hopefully improve faster than I did. Let's go! For a long time, my anatomy studies looked kind of like this. You see the problem? Yeah, my first mistake was focusing too much on rendering. And the time I spent rendering could have been used to lay in the main form of the muscles many times over. That's a huge waste of time. Later I found out that a better approach was to just focus on constructing the muscle, the actual shape of the limbs, not drawing every single fiber I could possibly understand from the diagram. Which leads me to mistake number 2. You need a solid base to build upon, and I did not have it. I was not focusing on the main form. Instead, I was trying to understand all of the muscles of the forearm. For example, well, these are the extensors. This is the extensor digiti minimi. What the? Yeah, this does not help because drawing on top of a flat base is completely useless. Instead, focusing on constructing figures with simple forms like cylinders, boxes, cones, spheres is going to help immensely to create a solid foundation to later add specific muscles on top. My third mistake was studying from flat diagrams. Something like this, or also this, is not useful for a beginner. Now, there is a time and a place for books like Elliot Goldfinger's, but as a beginner, you're just overwhelming yourself with a lot of information that you don't really need. I did not need it. I could not do anything with that information. I could just add lines over lines over lines on top of, again, flat forms. I found out that a better approach is to use 3D models or very well lit models. There are also very nice simplified anatomy drawings that you can look up, like this one, or this, from this book I recently found out about. As a beginner, really, studying all of the muscles from flat diagrams is a complete waste of time. My fourth mistake was, well, not really having a plan, or maybe having the wrong plan. Starting from head going down to the toes is gruesome. It takes a long time to see improvements, and it is discouraging. So unless you really have no idea, completely no idea how a body is made, in which case you should probably just draw simple figures first, do not start studying anatomy from the head and go down progressively. I thought that was a good idea for a long time, but recently I started thinking a better approach is to check your drawing and start from the worst offender. Do your arms suck? Does your chest look three-dimensional or not? Start from there, start from what makes sense, and then study that part, then move to the next worst offender. If you cannot even draw a mannequin, it makes no sense to start digging into the muscles of the calf, especially because you will not be able to see the improvement you seek. Okay, the next mistake sounds obvious, but maybe it's not. It is actually not practicing. What do I mean by that? Well, if you look at these drawings I made, you can see I actually scattered my reps all over the place. Here is an arm and a leg, and I only drew them basically once. So that was a huge mistake. Instead, it's fundamental to draw the same thing over and over and over and over again until it gets boring, until you hate it, because that's the only way to commit to memory. And for some time, I even thought that watching videos was enough to study anatomy. It's not. It's really not. But because doing this is boring, let's move to the next mistake. My sixth mistake was not applying what I learned. Of course I got bored. Of course, just drawing the same thing over and over and over is boring. And I did not think that was a problem in the past, but then I realized actually trying to make it fun, applying the anatomy I learned to something that I wanted to draw, made it fun. And that way I learned much, much faster. So if you really want to learn anatomy, use it for a finished piece that you want to make so that you also know how that specific muscle group you studied fits into an overall composition, and a complete piece of art. And that's it for my mistakes. I actually made a lot more, but this is hopefully what's gonna get you started and help you improve faster than I did, because it really took me a long time. Please don't do like me, don't be me. So if you enjoyed the video, smash that like button and subscribe for more. Also, if you really don't know where to start, I guess in the end, start with the head. So I have a video that covers that right here. Alright, take care.